Yeah, hello there, and welcome back. We've got another one here, which obviously you would have seen possibly in the last video, that we have the Ant Man from Ant Man and the Wasp. And now, like I said in that video, I was trying to get a hold of the Wasp first and foremost, and this guy on eBay had them both up for sale. I would have loved to have picked them both up, but as I was saying in that video, which I'm just going to give you a quick refresher now, just in case you didn't watch that video, is that I now, with us working for a living and working 10.5 hours a day, some of these things are now ending when I'm at work, and I obviously can't use my phone while I'm at work. It's just not that type of job where I'm allowed to have my phone on us, I'm allowed to carry it in case of emergencies, but if the collar is like on my phone trying to bloody buy a Hot Toys figure, I could be finished for it. So it's like a case of it's not worth taking the chance. But I was lucky, I managed to get this one, and I got it at a really good price. I think it was under 200 quid all told, including the postage. The Wasp went for, I think it was about 180 quid, which I would have easily paid that for her, to get a hold of her as well, to have them both. So now I've got to do the thing of looking out for a cheap Wasp, and so far there's not many of them about now. But I will say, even though he's not going to see this video because I'm not a huge channel like Jedi Patrol or bloody Justin, so he's hardly likely to see this, but I bought this from a guy called Craig Dawson, and I've got to say a huge thanks to him, because literally I ordered it, or I basically put the bid on it for it, and it ended while I was at work. I think it was for Thursday, I believe. It could have been Wednesday or Thursday. All the days are rolling into one for me at the minute, because literally Prime Day for Amazon, who I work for, has just ended, and that's when I was basically doing this thing. So, but I do know I paid for it, I think on my second break, which is after 2 o'clock, and I got it the next day. It came the very next day, so it must have been the Friday, to be perfectly honest with you. It was possibly the Friday, but either way, I know it came the next day. Right? So literally, he must have literally had the payment go through just after 2 o'clock. He must have took it straight down to the post office and posted it off immediately, and I got it the very next day. That to me is hellish fast, because normally speaking, you can wait a couple of days before somebody will post something off to you, So, Craig, mate, fucking thanks. I couldn't be happier with the fact of how fast it's come through. Now, looking at this box, it's a nice, beautiful looking box, very, very red, and it's slightly more sort of red on the actual camera lens than what it is, bugger man, to me in person, but it's still really nice. I really sort of like the look of this box. And again, like I say, the Ant-Man wasn't really a figure I was looking at picking up. I've never really been that huge of a fan. I do enjoy the movies, I must admit. The movies are good. He's an okay character in the actual films, but I wasn't never a huge sort of fan of it. It was like, okay, I didn't particularly sort of think that his suit was great out there, but I did like the look of the Wasp one, so I wanted that. So I thought, I've got to get this one in order to get the Wasp as well. And like I say, I did try and bid for both of them to get them both together, but I was unfortunate enough not to get the Wasp with it. But I now have him, so now all I need to do is eventually pick up a Wasp. Let's get this one, open up and show you what's inside of it. So as you can see, the inlay of this one is a bit slightly different. It has just basically the cast and crew that's worked on this one. Take that off, and then there's your actual stuff that's inside. And yes, this one is the one that comes with the crazy friggin' smile, for those of you that don't know. I'll get all the stuff out now, put this all in the light box, and we'll show you all the accessories and everything you get, and then go from there, guys. So here you go, guys. Here's what you get with it. As you can see to this side here, you can see the sort of, like, there's a display thingy to it, which is basically this. It's something I won't use. It's nice. It's really nice sort of display of them sort of shrinking down. So it's a really sort of nice one, but really it's not the type of thing I use. It's but it's there and it's got all the bits to it that it needs. It looks nice, but I wouldn't be using it, so we can get rid of that bit out of the way for now. Now, there's going to be certain bits in this that I won't know where to go, because there is only sort of one little tiny hiccup to this whole thing. And he banged in the instructions, but he must have been in that much of a rush to get the things out. He's given me the Wasp's instructions. So I think the other guy that's won the Wasp must have Ant-Man's instructions. So I don't know where some of this likes of that thing. I mean, I would probably be able to work it out if I really wanted to, but the chances I won't want to, because I'm not going to be putting that head sculpt on him. At least I don't think I will. I'll still keep it out, because I'm not going to put it away and have to go and searching for the bloody box if I did decide to one day want to use it for some sort of laugh or whatever. But that's the only one hiccup there is. So I know the chances of you, Craig, actually watching this and seeing it is probably very, very remote. But hey, dude, if you do and the other person complains and they want this, then just let me know, mate. I can easily send this to you, you know, and if he sends you the other one back, you can easily send the other one back to me. But either way, I'm not that fussed. It's not that big of a deal to me. I'm just letting you know, just in case the other person complains and you do happen to see this, which I very much doubt. Here's what we've got. This thing, the base itself, it's really nice, but you know me, again, as per usual, I never use the base, which is something else I'll have to go into here another time. But it's a nice looking one. You know, nothing wrong with that. Looks nice, as you can see. At some point he obviously hasn't used it himself. Whether he's actually had this on display at all or not, I don't know. But it's a base. There you go, it's a base. It looks nice. It's got his name, Scott Lang, on it. So you get your standard crotch grabber. So now to that. Here's where you get your sort of things. So we've got, there must be some obviously light up features or something on it, because you do have batteries here, which again, I never use them. They'll just go to one side. We do have the normal extra wrist pegs, as per the norm with these, which again, I don't see why they can't do what Sideshow does, which is to put a set of wrist pegs into every set of hands. It would save all that hassle. It would save any worries. You'd have a set of freaking wrist pegs in each hand. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense, but that's the way these do it. So we'll get this thing out of the way. As everybody knows, everyone will have seen it by now. Everyone knows that thing. Now, when I look at it in person, it's not as bad as all the hype was made out about it. Yes, it's sort of slightly goofy looking, but it is his grin. It's just not being done quite correctly. You know, it's almost like the teeth seem to protrude over the bottom lip a little bit. You know, and he's got no top lip at all. But maybe that's the actor. The actor might not have a top lip that much when he's grinning like that. But I don't think his teeth would protrude slightly too much over his bottom lip. But I mean, other than that, you know, that's an okay likeness. Yeah, it just looks slightly strange, but he is a slightly strange character, and he was a goofy style character. I mean, a superhero called Ant Man can shrink down and still have superhuman style strength. Yeah, that is weird in itself. You know, this bit, which again is this bit that I'm sort of not sure. I'm not even sure how it's supposed to go round. I'm taking it would probably slip into his body that way on, or like under the head sculpt that way on, so that the face would be sort of up here on it. But it may be the back of his helmet, because in fact, by the looks of that, actually it probably is the back of his helmet, because by the looks of that, that's where it folds back over into the sort of pieces. You know, you can see sort of the pieces there. So that'll be the sort of, obviously must be probably the back of his helmet. So that would slip into the back of it. If you wanted to have this head sculpt on it, would probably sit. Helps if I think, helps if I look through the camera when I'm doing this, doesn't it? Like, very professional, Mark, very professional. But there you go. That's probably something like how it would sit in order like that. If the actual head's, his mask is actually sort of folded itself back over on itself. So there you go, and that's how that would probably work. You do have these two little tiny things, which I'm always sort of looking for. See, can see? Yes, we can see them. They're highly detailed. You know, you've got your little black bits in there, blue and the red, or is it green and red? I'm not too sure because of me things, but you can see there. You know, one of them will be for that he throws under something and it'll shrink it. The other one he threw it on that stomach and it'll increase its size. You know, so it's pretty cool that you get them, but they are tiny. You know, I don't know if you're getting like a sort of scale, but there you go. In my hand, you can see that's bloody tiny. So I'd be afraid of losing those things if I tried to thingy them too much. So the chances are they'll just go into a bag and go with the rest of his stuff. And then we'll have this little tiny wee detailed. See if I can bring this light over a little bit better, so I'm able to see him in my hand a little bit better. Okay, so let's see if we can see that any better now. Probably not. It's got the light shining off my bloody camera, so can I see? There you go, guys. You know, for the size of that, you know, there is sort of a nice, pretty good amount of detail to the suit. You know what I mean? When you consider that is absolutely bloody tiny. Yeah, the amount of little detail that's there is really good. Yeah, that's cool. And you've got his hands. You've got your fisted hand. And you can see there's like a lot of detail to the gloves, which I'm always liking that when you're seeing a lot of detail to stuff. Really cool. So you got your two fisted hands. He's obviously got one of these hands on him right now, an open hand. And you can see sort of there his button that he would press. So that's pretty cool. And you have one of these on his hand as well, which is the one where he's actually looking like he's going to press the button. Yeah, so that's kind of cool. And again, you see just the details that's in there. Yeah, it's not just sort of like a plain flat style glove. You do have indentations and something to see on there, so that's cool. And then of course there's this bit, which is the building shrunken down. Yeah, and that is cool. You got a lot of little bits of detail. I would be a bit worried about these things snapping. Yeah, so again, it's something that the chances are I'll possibly put away and not use. And you can, these do move, which again is like a great little touch. So guys, like I was saying before, my actual camera cut itself off because of the heat. So that's one thing I'm going to say to you guys. If you've got the new Samsung S21, you've got to be careful with the heat side of things, because the camera thingy heats up very freaking quickly. And if you get a warmish day, like, I mean, I live in the UK, so it's never too hot over here, but you get a warmish day and the thingy will heat up very quickly and switch itself off. I think it was like 11 minutes in. But these things do work, which is a neat touch, but it's also a case of, well, almost it's like, why? It's not like the character is going to get up and walk away with it on its base. It's not going to do that, but it's still a neat touch that they have the mechanics there for it to move. I mean, like I say, you can't see it moving, but maybe just there you could hear it. Yeah, and I mean the details on the top of there is pretty damn good. You know, it's sort of phenomenal sort of little details to that. Kind of cool. Yeah. So there you go, guys. That's what you're getting. Now, also, of course, we didn't show you this bit, but this bit literally is just for this. This bit can pull out completely, and you can put this one in so that it looks like you can carry it. You know, there you can basically drag it along like you did in the film. So that's what that's for. You know, it's not massive, not major, but it's just a nice, neat little touch. That if you wanted to have him holding it, and like he was dragging it along behind him like you did in the movie, then you can do that. Excuse me. Now, guys, we'll get out the character and see how he looks himself. And here he is, guys. You know, I'm actually sort of slightly more impressed with it than I thought I would be. I like sort of the colour and the design of it better than I thought I would. You know, like I say, not a huge Ant Man fan. I do enjoy the movies. I think they're okay for what they are. They're fun. They're different. But I'm not a huge sort of fan of his. But I do like this. You know, this sort of looks slightly better than I thought it was going to. And I'm slightly more impressed with how it looks. Now, how the joints are and what have you, that could be a different matter. We're going to see that in a few seconds. But the actual look of it, the details to the actual sort of suit and everything else, that how it looks like he's got sort of abs down here, looks pretty good. I like the look of the belt. The belt looks really sort of nice. There's nice touches to the arms and everything else here, and how it looks like it's a sort of metallic-y look to the actual colour of it. I think it's pretty nice, you know, it's a nice looking thing. So all it is, I'll pull them in close and we'll start having a look at some of the articulation that we'll have on the character, and obviously while we're doing that we'll be able to have a closer look at the character, you know. So that's the first thing we'll do, is we'll lift this up so we can pull them in a bit closer and we'll be able to have a look at some of this articulation and that. So then you can see there, the head is nice, but I don't know how well you can make it because of the light that's obviously coming through into everything, but actually is eyes back there, so there is sort of some sort of sculpt inside of there, because he has got eyes. And I do know that this bit, if you were to put the things in, will possibly light up slightly, because this top part here, this top part here can come off somehow. There you go, there it is, it's coming off to reveal there. Anyway, yeah, things will go. There's a switch to switch it on and off. So you do have your light up feature, which I would take it has to be in these eyes to light them up, which means then you would probably see even better the actual eyes that's in there. But you can see the sort of the helmet looks really sort of nice. It's nicely done. Motion wise, for you see, you can't really look down brilliantly. You can sort of look slightly up. It's not like fully up, it's not a full thing, but it is enough so that if you had him like sort of jumping like he does in the movie, you can still have that thing where you can almost see. But you think that's not bad, you know. And if you look like that, it sort of looks slightly more. He's got nice range of motion on the head tilt itself, and obviously in turn in which way it needs to, you know. So that's pretty good. It's not too bad at all, considering, you know, I can sort of quite easily see that you can get most stuff you probably would need out of that. Here's the arm. It's proper full 90 degrees. This bit's raising up nicely to get out of the way. You know, though you are touching on there now. You can see it there, see, it's touching. So you're not really gonna get any past that, but that's enough for most things, you know. It's decent enough. You do have the butterfly effect, and this is sort of split, so this is a different section to that bit, you know, so it's a different thing to it. So you have got the motion there, bicep curl wise. It's a nice double bend. This I would worry about in time coming off. I don't know if it's on Velcro or whether it's just stuck on. Chances are, the way Hot Toys normally are, it's probably stuck on, which means it'll eventually drop off because they don't tend to use the best of glues in the world. You know, you've got your normal sort of style wrist peg down here, but again, if you just look at the things to it, you know, it's really nice. The material's quite nice, though I do sort of think that you're going to have a potential issue if you've got them bent for too long. They have got this sort of thing in here, you know, which sort of makes it like, yeah, is it going to be that bad? You know, because it's this bit that I'm more concerned about and worried about, is, you know, whether that would sort of, if you try to have that in that type of position for any sort of length of massive amount of time. Now I'm talking like, for me, I'll post something up and it'll probably stay like that for a long time. You know, would that have any sort of long lasting effect on this thing? You know, most of them I think do, but it's a case of what you prefer. Do you prefer to have it in a good pose, whether it sort of has an effect on the suit or not? I guess that depends on whether you're one of those ones that wants to sell things on very quickly. I tend to buy stuff in order to keep them because I want them. Yeah, so I'm not as fussed about stuff like that. You know, you've got the waist wise, he does have a bit of waist bend, to have a little bit of twist, but the suit itself, you can see, is just basically flicking it back towards the center point, so you're not really going to get much in the way of being able to twist them into his positions and stuff like that and get him to stay there, because the suit is literally going to just ping and get him straight back into position again, you know, so that's pretty bad. And as you can see with things, it's like this with most Hot Toys ones, you can't get the arms dead close to the actual body. But I think that, again, with this one, is a lot more to do with sort of the style of suit here, because this, even though it's a soft, sort of plasticky thingy to it, it's still sort of harder than the actual sort of rubberness that's on the suit itself, you know, so it is going to stop it from going right in. But you tend to have that sort of issue a lot with Hot Toys anyway. They tend not to get them in close to the body for some reason. Hips wise, we're going to have the same thing as what we've always got with Hot Toys. I don't know why they don't start using like a facing style body, because you've seen how far back, if you watched the video before this, if you haven't, go and watch the video before this, it was on a facing body, and literally the leg articulation, you could get it right sort of back much further than that thing there. You can see whether this is partly to do with the clothing aspect of it, I don't know. I would sort of be concerned with that there, sort of clamping and crisping up and thinking, but you tend not to sort of think, because you might want his legs back a little bit if you're doing like a walking style pose, but you're stuck, you're limited, you know. Coming forward, again, you come forward about there, you know, which isn't very far, considering, because the suit will start to pull his leg back down. But it's also this bit, yeah, I mean, that there is quite sort of unsightly, yeah, so it would make it thing easy. You can't really have him doing a kneeling style pose or anything like that, and that I would worry about over time, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I've straightened it out there now, and you can see it has sort of left little slight indentations on the actual thing itself. Knees wise, you got a pretty good sort of like double bend to it. Again, this is a bit that would concern us. I would just, again, this is the bit that would concern us, is whether this is on Velcro or whether it's something I don't want to pull too hard just in case. But again, over time I'd worry about them coming off if it's glue, because you know for a fact Hot Toys don't use the best glues, I'm afraid. But it is good that they've used a split cut boot, which means you do get sort of a bit of an ankle articulation. Not much in the way of side to side, I'm afraid, even though it's a split boot cut. You're not getting much side to side on it, I'm afraid, but yeah, it is nice that you've got sort of a bit of motion there. But other than that, you know, he's a pretty good thingy. He's a pretty good looking character. He will stand up even in this light box, which I normally have a lot of difficulty with. He is stood up. So there you go, guys. That's Ant Man from Ant Man 2, or Ant Man and the Wasp, whichever you prefer to call it. And I'm sort of quite pleased that I've picked them up. You know, I wished I'd managed to get a hold of the Wasp as well, because that's really sort of the main one I was after. But now I've got him, I'll be able to look out and see if I can pick up a cheap version of the Wasp at some point and have the pair of them together. And I'll just keep a hold of this guy and find somewhere for him. I don't know where right now, but I will find somewhere for him. And I'm just glad I got him. I'm glad I got him at a decent price. I would hate to have paid too much for him, because he's, like I say, he's one of those bit characters for me. But I'm still glad I got him. So thank you very much, Craig, for getting it out to me so quick. It's given us something to do on my day off, and I'm now hot because it's a warm day of the day. So I'm about to knock this thing off and put my fan on to cool me and the dog down. Thankfully he's been a good boy today. So thanks very much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Please comment down below and I'll always comment back. Catch us in the next one. This is the Bearded Nerdy Oaf, and I'm out of here.
So what I believe you were trying to say is thank you.
Thank you?
You're welcome.
What? No. I didn't. I wasn't. Why would I ever say that? I mean,
Okay.